the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age, all precursors to today's plastic age. As far back as the mid-1800s, scientists experimented with various substances in hopes of coming up with replacements for the expensive metals that the coming Industrial Revolution would be using in great quantities. After World War II, the push into the plastic age was made in earnest. Plastic as a synthetic invention was by definition a product of man's mastery of chemistry. People were led to believe that the benefits of plastic were endless. It was light, durable, endlessly applicable to so many uses. The wonder that was plastic initially was further enhanced in the eyes of the consumer with the advent of marketing. Selling plastic as the disposable wonder product. It was too easy to be sold something this life-changing. It was too easy to believe that our world would forever be better for its advent. And worst of all, it was far too easy to believe that there was no downside to plastic. It takes energy to make plastic, energy to recycle plastic, and energy to cope with its effects. This energy comes at the expense of the planet. By the mid-1980s, major manufacturing conglomerates like Nestle, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola had a grip on the market that led the way in undoing the environment one sip at a time. The single-use plastic bottle, once hailed by manufacturers as a convenience, has become a bane of the planet. Plastic is the culprit, and people have been sold a bill of goods that has resulted in phenomena like the garbage patches that accumulate in our waters because of the natural gyres, vortices of ocean currents, where discarded plastic collects. Captain Charles Moore, a seafaring environmentalist and researcher, discovered the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the summer of 1997 when he was sailing from Honolulu to California. This vast expanse of accumulated garbage is one of the 5 gyres where debris collects. The Pacific Garbage Patch is assumed to be roughly the size of Texas. The Pacific Ocean now hosts the largest trash dump on Earth. It is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and it is not a pretty picture. Waste dumped both on land and sea has made its way to a swirling vortex of ocean trash that threatens sea life, aquatic ecosystems, fishing industry, and the safety of the seafood supply. In some coastal areas, a day at the beach is becoming a day at the sandy trash heap. The impact of plastic on the marine environment has been long studied scientifically and shows that it will photodegrade, which is degradation from exposure to sunlight, a process by which it ultimately ends up breaking into countless tiny bits of the same horrible substance. Essentially, the sun's rays dry the plastic to the point that it shatters. The result is countless minuscule bits of plastic, most of which are floating below the surface, reaching down perhaps 300 feet. There is simply no good way to pull those tiny beads out of the water. It would be kind of like trying to catch sand in a jacuzzi tub. These tiny pellets are called nurdles. Nurdles is such an innocuous word for something so sinister. Addiction to Plastic, The Rise and Demise of a Modern Miracle by Ian Conacher is a documentary that explores the history of plastic and how it came to dominate our lives. From styrofoam cups to artificial organs, plastics are perhaps the most ubiquitous and versatile material ever invented. No invention in the past 100 years has had more influence and presence than synthetics, but such progress has such a cost. In a lifetime, a person will throw away 600 times their own weight in plastic. Tons and tons of single-use plastic finds its way onto our beaches and into our lakes and rivers and oceans every year. At this rate, we will have more plastic than water to swim in. There is another R that we must factor into the plastic pollution equation. Refuse. Say no to any disposable plastics. Recycling is not a sustainable solution. The only way to truly change the situation is to refuse to use. Corporations will take notice of you. You're the consumer. Exercise your right to choose. Don't let conglomerates like Coca-Cola and Nestle make your choices for you. Force the hand of big business to stop making bottled water. Force change. In the Twitter world we live in, imagine, if you will, if all of Justin Bieber's Twitter followers simply stopped consuming water in plastic bottles, industry would stop and take notice. It would be forced to change. That's right, almost 40 million people choosing to no longer participate in the destruction of our oceans and waterways. That's 5 million more people than in all of Canada. It takes a change in consciousness to make a change in our world. If it is a popularity contest, I dare all of Justin Bieber's fans out there to just do it. Just stop using plastic water bottles. Go ahead, I dare you. If you love Justin Bieber, you will stop now.